so I need to pay bills. So then I was like, I can't be like depending on a 9 to 5. It's a lot more riskier to be in a 9 to 5 than risking on anything else.
Jess, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. One of VIPA's very own. It's good to see you. I appreciate you for hopping on last minute yesterday. This has been a highly anticipated call from someone within our organization. You've been with us now for about, what, 6, 7 months now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So it's about time that we got you a little bit of get you up here to give other people some sort of insight as to what you've been able to accomplish. So, definitely want to start with a little bit of background. Okay, so let me know if I got all this right, if I didn't miss anything. But obviously, you came from working at Avis. You were working at the car rental
Mm-hmm.
place, and you're from California as well, correct?
Correct.
So you're one of the people who has to be on Zoom like at 6:30 in the morning if you actually want to make some real money.
Mm-hmm.
But you never had an insurance background. Obviously, you took a risk on building a career here. Like many alike, people within this organization, people who are on lead assist, who want to get off lead assist and take on their own spend, definitely want to pay attention to this one. You started on lead assist, you learned the fundamentals, you built the confidence you needed. Eventually, you transitioned into the Spanish market where you became one of like our agency's like top producers on that side. And then talking numbers here so everyone understands. Once you start investing in your own leads, your production went from writing $28,000 in March, $37,000 in April, $43,000 in May, while consistently producing over $25,000 a month. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Miss anything?
No,
All right, cool.
you're correct.
All right. Well, we always start with a theme, yeah? So the theme is to give everyone a little bit of insight as to how you went from being on lead assist to becoming like a lead champion on your own spend, yeah? So how you went on to building $40,000 a month in production for yourself. So let's start from the very beginning before you even came to our organization. You were working at Avis. What made you decide to take a chance on in this industry?
I was working at Avis. Well, I worked for Avis till summer of 2024, and then I went into like a smaller company, but it was the same industry. I didn't want to do corporate anymore just because in corporate sales you do get capped, right? It's like capped commission, and there's just a lot of BS that comes with corporate, as well as if it's slow, they will lay you off, they will cut your hours, so then it goes your money. And unfortunately, I'm like used to a lifestyle here in California. Everything's so expensive, so I need to pay bills. So then I was like, I can't be like depending on a 9 to 5. It's a lot more riskier to be in a 9 to 5 than risking on anything else. So then actually a year ago today, I still didn't have my license. I didn't get my license till July. So me just reflecting back on everything, it's like my life's changed completely from then until now. It's like I'm in a different space to where I was a year ago. So I decided to like not look for another corporate job, and I just decided to do this, got my license, and then I started working for the agency in October.
Insane. Working with the
Mhm.
agency, you don't work for anybody. All
Yeah.
right. So now, what were some of the biggest fears or doubts that you had when you first got started, I guess? Like someone who's like from outside looking in. Like how did you even find out about the industry though? That's what I'm curious to know.
Okay, so
What happened?
I actually got my license because of I was gonna start working for Globe Life.
Oh, okay.
So then I was gonna work with them, and then it didn't work out. So sometimes I feel like what doesn't work out works out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still got my license. I took a little break. I'm like, let me just mentally refresh after getting my license. And then I got laid off from the small company. And then I searched. I don't know how I came into Illuminate, but I did. And then I applied. And then Mario called me to set up an appointment for an interview. And then I got an interview with Nico as well. And then I got hired.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You passed the overview in the interview process. So, okay, so what was your biggest fear, like I guess, when you or doubt when you came in? Because a lot of people like, you know, obviously when you're starting something new, even if you're someone who comes from sales, right? I think that's a big
Mhm.
misconception, right? Like people who come from sales, they either come in with a crazy amount of confidence and like they think they can run everything here and like they run the show and they know everything and because they know how to do customer service. It's a completely different beast, right? And even people who come from a whole other in the insurance space who transition to our agency, same thing. So, or there's people who like are just completely like nervous to just be in this industry. But either way, I mean, well, honestly, I'd prefer working with someone who's like nervous or like not like, the most confident in being here and help them build up their confidence. Someone who comes in like opinionated, thinking they know what to do, right? You were one of
Mhm.
those people who came in like honestly, you weren't neither one of those things. You just came in, knew what to do, and you did your thing, right? So I guess what were some of the biggest fears you had or doubts when you first got started?
I didn't, I mean, because it looked too good to be true, you know? It's like, oh, you make all this money. And it's like, do you really make all this money? Like, I would see people post online, oh, you can make a lot of money with this industry. So I was like, is it true? Or are they like doing this for like Instagram, you know? And then that was a scary part, right? Coming in, I actually had no income coming in. I transitioned from not having a job. I just came full time as well. I was living off my savings, and I was like, no, I gotta make this work. This was gonna be my plan A through plan Z because I don't want to go back to corporate. I was like, this is going to work. I'm gonna make it work. I prayed. I was like, there's just no way this is not gonna work. And it's working out. So that was my fear. It was a fear, but it was like God also testing my fear. He's like, let's see if you actually like fold and like quit or you actually make this happen and work from home and do what you want to do and you know make money from a laptop because that's also what I wanted to do, like make money from home. And it worked out. It's been working out so far. So I just can't I can't even say I just mentally blocked whatever was trying to block me pretty much.
Mhm. I'm glad that you opened up and kind of I want to touch on what you said about, you feeling like, you were gonna quit, stuff like that, because that's a big thing that a lot of people go through. Um, but before we even get to that, is the money real?
The money's real.
That's real. Okay, just want to make sure. But I think one of the biggest things I know you just talked about is like obviously you're running a business. Is your first time running a business?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's one of the biggest things, right? It's like people don't understand. Like I've made a post about this on Instagram yesterday too, which is like when you're running a business, things are going to go well. Things are also not going to go so well,
Mhm.
right? And I mean, even when you just decide to choose your own hard, right? Because when you're working a job, it's the same thing, right? Obviously, when you're working a job, in some aspects, right? The company is the one that's, even when the company's going good or company's going bad, you're still, getting a check or you're going to get laid off. With a business
Mhm.
that you're running, you can control as to whether or not you're going to get laid off or not. You're going to lay
Mhm.
yourself off or you're going to keep pushing. So,
Mhm.
um, what kept you going when like most people would have quit during like that learning curve sort of situation that you kind of went through, especially having the ill experience that you had before coming to this agency so
But what
early?
kept me going, what really, and it has kept me going, is like I don't ever want to go back to corporate. And
Mm,
I always tell you this, it's like corporate has been like traumatizing. You know, like the way that you say captive agency has been traumatizing for a lot of people. That's how I felt. I felt with corporate.
mm,
And I don't ever want to go back. I'd rather work 24/7 for myself, and I do them. And I'm here from 6:30 sometimes to like 8:30 p.m., you know, 9:30 p.m. dialing Cali time. I'd rather do that than ever go back to corporate.
mm.
I don't care. I'm at home. Like there's just no excuses, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. No one can tell you how much money you're gonna make.
Exactly. And there's days I don't make money, but that's how a corporate sales job is. There's just days
Yeah,
that you don't make money.
yeah.
Unfortunately, like you don't make money, but they'll keep you around just for the hourly, you know?
Mm, mm,
That's why people get stuck in that rat race, I would say. Like they get stuck and then you meet people in these corporate jobs that have been there longer than I've been alive. And it's like, how are you still here? Like
mm.
you just settled for this. And I didn't want that.
No doubt. Real risk taker.
Hmm.
It's a tough thing, when you have like stable income, to just like let go of it and not get caught up, you know? I guess like what was like a big like turning point? I guess like how if you were to advise someone to get out of that situation, like what would you tell them? Like how did you do it? Because like you obviously had overhead expenses, right? You had
Hmm.
bills to be paid.
Hmm.
You were taking a salary every month plus a little small commission, right? Or
Yeah.
hourly, whatever.
Yeah.
How did you like how were you able to afford to do that? I think that's like the big question that everyone kind of like subconsciously is asking themselves is like how can they get into this thing full time, similar to what you did, while also not drowning, right? Because again, you are going to drown for a little bit.
Hmm.
Everyone's going to drown.
Hmm.
I think that's like the big misconception. You are going to drown. If your
Hmm.
bank account is not, I think Alex Leak and I were talking about this in his office on like a Saturday or a Sunday. If your bank account's not going like negative when you're running a business, I'm sorry. Like, I think this is like the thing that I'm gonna blow the gasket on. It's like you're doing something wrong. Like
Hmm.
you haven't. You're. It's only time before it happens. Like you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose a lot, and then you're gonna bounce back, and it's gonna come right back up.
Hmm.
And then it's gonna be a little bit of that. It's gonna be a little bit of a tango until you get in the groove of having like some sort of real cash flow coming from this business. But even then, the test will never end. Like you're still going to get punched in the face at some point. Whether you
Hmm.
work a job, whether you work in your own business, it's the same thing, right? Luckily, we have such an amazing community here, which is like, even when people go, because when you're running a business, it's like you against you, kind of, especially you just
Hmm.
be a producer, right? But when you have a community around you, kind of just makes it a little bit easier, no? Don't you think?
Hmm.
Right? So I guess like, how are you able to afford that? How are you able to afford to get into this thing full time?
So, because I've had so many jobs, like I'm that person that will leave, when I don't like things, I'm just gonna leave, right? Um, the main thing for me is that I learned how to save money
Mm.
because I we call it FU money, right? In case you don't like something, you save money for a little bit of time. Meantime, you get something else. So I was used to that. It was like a roller coaster with me in corporates also. It's like if I didn't like something or anything, I would just like, hey, you know what? There's like a whole world out there. Why am I stuck with this job? So then I would leave, save money, take a break because sales is a mental job, right? So it's like I would take like a little mental break, restart and like plan on what I'm gonna do, apply for different jobs, and then get another one. So it's like you gotta save a little, and then coming into this industry, you have to see the bigger picture because you, like you said, you're your own boss, right? You decide how much you get paid, you decide what you work and everything. So it's tough in the beginning. It's tough to transition into something like this because you're not going to see the money right away, right? Like I remember when I started, I had to do the training, I had to get released, and then I started like to actually see some sales in, and then get paid like later, a little later. But it's just more of like your own motivation, right? And it's like your bigger picture of what you see in the future because it's not going to happen overnight. You do have to work your ass off.
No doubt.
You do have to do it.
Undoubtedly, I mean, I can only imagine. Mm, so obviously, you obviously had to save your money. You knew your numbers. You had to calculate your risk, which is smart.
Mhm.
I mean, that's like a business move. Mm, and I'm glad that you also said like this. You said, I just heard you said you get to decide how much money you get paid. Like you're your own
Mhm.
boss, but you decide how you get like how much money you get paid. The common misconception is you're your own boss, but you can decide how many hours you're going to work. That is the thing that everyone gets confused coming in this thing is like, well, you get to decide how many hours you're going to work based on how much income you want to make, right? Like if you want to make like 2, 3 grand a month, yeah, sure, you can work like maybe 2, 3 days out the week.
Mhm.
You want to make over 10 grand, 5,000 to $10,000 a month, bare minimum in income. On the low end, you're working like 5, 6 days a week full time, right? Because again, common misconception, right? It's like similar to what you just said. Like same strategy. You make your money, save your money. Maybe you go on a trip for like a week or two. No one can tell you how many no one can tell you have 2 weeks of PTO. No one can say that.
Mhm.
But you got to get right back on that horse because as soon as you leave for too long, right, the business still has to run. So you're the only person running the business. Someone has to
Mhm.
run it, right? Otherwise, things like chargebacks are going to happen. Your business is not going to run without you. You have to run it, right? Common misconception. But no, I'm glad that you talked about that because like that's the biggest thing. And we talk about this all the time. Is like this is an uncapped income play rather than like the freedom play. You
Mhm.
use this money to leverage it elsewhere and but you got to put your head down, like you said, work your behind off, right?
Mhm.
And the freedom comes later, right? But uncapped income is always going to be there. Now, kind of moving into more like shifting off from your background, right? I think everyone kind of understands a little bit about
who you are, what you've done, how you've gotten here. Let's talk about like your experience when you got here and more sort of shifting into, you know, your numbers, right? So I guess in the beginning, tying what you just said, like in terms of lead assist, right? How important was that in building a foundation for your success?
That's actually very important because that would get the ball rolling, right? You get to have splits, which you still take 50% of the profit. No corporate job's going to give you 50% of any commission. So it's like it'll keep the momentum going because the more you start seeing that money, and then you're like, oh, if I could keep 100% of my profit,
Yeah.
might as well just invest, you know? I feel like that that is like that would give you like that's the first step, right? The lead assist to eventually you want to invest when you're ready to invest, because it is also a risk to invest. Because what if it doesn't work out?
Mhm.
But you have to like also be mentally prepared that you need to like work your leads. You have to work your leads because in the beginning it's like you're not going to see a bunch of leads, but you have to work your leads.
Mhm. No doubt.
But
And
it'll work out.
You were doing this full time though, right? Like you were working like 6 days a
Yeah.
week. Because I think that the
Mhm.
standard that we have is like if you're not working 4 days a week, you can't full time, you can't get lead assist. Now you got on lead assist. I think you took on your spend too pretty early, no?
Yeah, I did.
You
I
were like
got
you were doing
some.
lead assist and you were taking on your spend a little bit.
Yeah.
There was that one month when you spent like what 1,000, you made like I think you deposited 8,000 or you wrote 8,000
Yeah.
deposit. That's
Yeah.
right. That's a unique
That was in
situation.
December, my first month actually.
Insane, insane. Um, I think a lot of people though, like same thing. Like a lot of people have like lead assist. Unfortunately, sometimes it can create like a corporate sort of like dependency, right? Like this
Mhm.
corporate sort of stability, corporate like dependency, right? Because it's like okay, like I know I'm gonna get leads. I have to work these leads, but I don't have to spend money on leads, right? So I
Mhm.
guess like I know early on you were super adamant about taking on 100% of what you make. Mm, how did you like ease into that process? Like, how did you know it was time for you to take on your own spend? You
When
know,
Nico told me at convention,
really?
I had a conversation with Nico.
Mm,
He's like, just do it. You already know what you're doing. You won't regret it. And then convention is also an eye-opening event. You
mm,
know, a lot of people actually spoke about this, like lead flow is cash flow.
mm.
And that just stuck to my mind. And I'm like, if I want to be there, I have to invest in my business.
No doubt. Okay. Now, when did you like I know early on, like you were super hyped. Like as soon as you started, like you had that big month in December, like
Mhm.
it kind of like shifted your perspective. So like I guess what was like the it moment when you knew like this thing wasn't just like a side something you're gonna do on the side or something you're just gonna try, but like something that you think could actually choose like change your life. You take care of your mom too, no? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So like when did you know for a fact like this is something that you can actually build up and to like take care of yourself and your family?
Because I saw it. I mean, it's like an example that we have within our people, right? It's like they're willing to like they're making money. I'm like, I can make money too because it's just a blueprint. I'm like, I'm able to like make more than I ever did in my other paychecks. I'm like, I can, save a lot more because you never know what could happen, emergency within our family, which happens a lot. You just can't stop stuff like that. So it's like I can decide how much money I can make. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, it's like I can really decide that.
no doubt. You know what I'm gonna start doing? You just gave me a good idea. You gave me a good idea. What I'm gonna start doing is now, whenever we have guests come on, I'm gonna start asking them for proof. That's what I'm gonna start doing. Like have people come up like show bank statements. So I think like the audience like just watching, looking in, like they've probably heard these conversations, but a lot of new folks here still might have like the same sort of mind frame that you had, or a majority of people have when coming into this thing. Like, is it real? Am I making money? All that. So like I'm really gonna start having people like pull up their bank statement and stuff like that, like show us like is it really happening? Like, are you really getting paid? Right?
Mhm.
Because people like, a lot of new agents come in, like they're writing business. And just because they're writing business, might not be seeing a deposit. Maybe it's just because of the fact they're not educated on placement, or they're not
Mhm.
educated on how understanding how you get paid and when you get paid based off the
Mhm.
draft dates, right? So, big thing there. Now again, let's talk about leads a little bit, right? So you started on English leads. You did start on English
Mhm.
before you got to Spanish, right? And at the end
Yeah,
of this,
yeah.
we are going to be doing a little bit of role play. Okay, so get ready. We're gonna do like Spanish role play and English role play to get people to understand like some of your word tracks. Maybe you're doing something like special that you know, there's always something special going on, right? Rather than just following a process. But you started English leads before transitioning to Spanish leads. So I guess
Mhm.
what led to that decision?
It's just Mario started giving me leads for the Spanish. They just call this person there in Cali, and I just ran the script, the English script, to like the Spanish, and it was working out. I was just closing them, maybe because I was also getting like high intent leads. But I
Mhm.
feel like with the Hispanics, I am a lot more comfortable with them. I
Mhm.
mean, you could just, it's just our people, so then they feel comfortable with the conversation. So I just decided to just focus on that. And then I'm like, let me just do this. Yeah, do we get like pros and cons? Yeah, we do.
No
We
doubt.
get a lot of it. I mean, I'm
Let's
sure
talk
Pam
about
tells
this.
you all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
there's a lot
let's
of
talk about it. Let's talk about it like in front of everybody because I think it'd be helpful for a
yeah.
lot of people who are trying like people who are trying to transition to Spanish. Like
Mhm.
what are some like the biggest differentiate? Because every lead has its own pros and cons, right? A lead is just a
Mhm.
lead at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But what are some of the things that people need to account for before they get on a Spanish leads or while they're running Spanish leads? And what are some of the because you are someone you and I mean other people too, Pam, Anna Babayan, a lot of these people have ran Spanish and English, right?
Mhm.
So I kind of maybe it'd be helpful for you to kind of explain the major key differences.
Yeah, so with the Spanish leads, you're gonna come across a lot of like the immigration status, right? So you have a lot of ITIN. You don't have a lot of like companies that would work with ITIN, so you can't pivot at many companies, right? And then
What are some companies? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like
oh, okay. So
what
with like so far with ITIN, MM is really good with ITIN. National Life Group is really good with ITIN. And then ethos on some ethos products, you can do ITIN.
Mhm.
Some.
Okay.
Um, but it's still a lot because you have to send that form, the tax form.
Mhm.
You have to send them to fill that out. They have to send you like a proof of like their passport or like what's it called, their ID card. And then some people don't want to send you that. And it's like I'm trying to help you out, it's just part of the process. And yeah, you'll get like a lot of people that are afraid that this is gonna like something's gonna happen with their immigration or like they're gonna call ICE on them, and it's like, no, dude, this is just part of the process. No one's gonna come after you. So you'll get a lot of stuff like that with them.
Okay. What else? What else? Some like other key differences between English and Spanish leads that people should like, come to understand.
So with the Spanish leads, just I think this is more on like if you're dealing with a male, right? You have to ask them if the wife also is the what's it called, the decision maker, because most of the time the wife is the decision maker on the Hispanic leads, and you want to make sure you talk to her. And I also learned this in the car business that when a woman is with a man, you gotta give her the attention, right? Compared to just talking to the guy. And because in the Hispanic, Pam will say this all the time, like with the Hispanic male, like to be like very misogynist and stuff like that. So you gotta like know how to like word things with them. And if the wife is a decision maker, make sure she's in the call.
Okay, that's similar actually. Similar philosophy, I think, even with mortgage protection. Ethos leads, you gotta have like I think honestly any conversation you start with someone like you gotta ask, do you make decisions with anyone else or is it something you're doing by yourself? Because sometimes it might not even be the wife. Sometimes it might not even be the husband. It might not even be the husband. It might be like a brother or a sister or somebody else in the family, right? So no, that's huge. Mm, what are I guess what do you think agents are missing when it comes to serving the Spanish speaking market? Like what opportunities are there? And what are some positives?
So opportunity, there's a lot of opportunity in the Spanish market because a lot of people are actually very interested in IULs, and if you know how to structure those properly, I mean, you'll get like your book of business. I know I wrote my big IUL last month where Pam helped me how to set that up, and it's like they're really interested on that because that's the thing about the Hispanics. They don't like to like what's it called, spend money and knowing that it's going to go into waste. Like they
Mhm.
will literally say that to you with the term policies when you try to like have them that.
Mhm.
And So IUL market with the Hispanics is there.
Mm,
It's really there. Like they are interested in like saving money. Oh, how much money can I make at the end of the day? They want to invest it because
mm,
they're like literally comparing the 401ks to that. And
mm,
it's like they see a lot more benefits in the IULs
mm,
and they see in the 401ks because a lot of the conversations that come across. They're like, oh, I have a 401k, but I don't see a lot into it. And I know that I have to pay taxes and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of stuff that the Hispanic market does have, like with the IULs, I would say.
mm.
What do you think the English market has the Hispanic market doesn't have?
I feel like English, I kind of don't run English anymore. The last things I do come across with English market is I think I was running FEX
Mm.
the last time I ran English. It's just a lot of grumpy people with the English market, to be honest with
I
you.
said
I
positive, but
don't, it's like, I'm not, I don't
yeah,
know. Positive, I
okay.
would say, I mean, if they buy, they buy.
That's good. That's good.
But
Start
I don't
start
know. For
somewhere,
me,
right?
it's like
Good.
they're very grumpy.
Yeah, it's okay. You're using your skills to your advantage, so you gotta favor that. Now, I guess you kind of expressed how convention, helped you buy your own leads, right? Talking to Nico, talking to your mentors, that helped you. Um, you went from, I think your first month you took on your spend, you went from 28,000 in March, 37,000 in April, 43,000 in May, constant uptrend. What do you think changed throughout that stretch from each level of like jump? And your spend, I think, stayed the same too, no?
Yeah, my
Yeah,
spend
so
stayed
what
the
the heck?
same.
What were you spending to write that?
3K
It's
a month,
crazy.
so 100 a day. The thing about
I
this
want
is
people to
like you have
understand that's
to.
not normal though. I think if we that's like a not a normal thing. So because some people are this, I know some people are gonna start writing like spending 3K and then expecting like to write that kind of business. Yeah, the typical rule of thumb is 5x ROAS. So like whatever if you want to write 50, issue pay 50, you gotta spend at least whatever the math is, 10, 5, whatever. But
Mhm.
figure it out, right? So, but this is a rare case, very rare. So kind of talk about this.
Follow up. I remember Mario always planting that to me in my head. He's like, just follow up with your customers, follow up, because that's what's gonna get you paid. And it's true, just because you already have their information.
Mhm.
You already have their banking, you already have their social. All you're doing is probably rewriting an app,
Mhm.
or maybe that person was just too frustrated to even sign. Because I get that with like those complicated signatures. You just follow up. Hey, let's just finalize this. I'm gonna go step through step on this again, so we get that going. And that's how it is. It's just following up and also setting the immediate draft dates that would also get you paid out.
Mhm.
I've done that a lot. I'm trying not to push things for the next month or
Mhm.
mid-month. I'm also trying to get paid right away, but I'm also planting to my client, hey, if something were to happen to you tomorrow, this money's not available until you make your first initial draft date. So then they kind of like have that mindset. They're like, you know what? Yeah, let's get this as soon as possible.
No doubt. I
Yeah.
respect. Okay. So following up and then not offsetting your draft is two huge 2 points that you made. Because the saying goes, right? The fortune is in the follow-up, right? So what are some strategies that we can use? Like I think that the smart lists are huge, right? Like having smart
Yeah.
lists with like that's a beautiful part about us or our organization, like and like having the ability to have access to technology and staff and all these great things. Because like if we were just dialing off a cell phone and a spreadsheet, I mean, it'd be really tough, right? Keeping everything organized, right? Like it's possible, but it'd be way harder. So like the
Hmm.
fact that we have access to all of this is like just makes our lives easier. Like you get on the phone with someone, you didn't close them, you got past option, you put the follow-up tag on there, it gets put into your smart list, and every day you'll hit those every single day. I mean,
Hmm.
huge opportunities there.
Hmm.
You know? I say that's a big thing. And they also go into workflows too. Pretty cool. Mm, let's talk about also, yes, this is another big thing too. Talk about having your business go effective immediate. Now, there is a risk in that, right? And I want to get an understanding of how do you mitigate that risk, right? Because like let's say someone doesn't have the money in the bank. Like what do you do to make sure that you're not just like pushing the app, are you? Like what are you doing to sort of make sure that like the money's in the bank and like this thing does not go NSF on you? And it's actually affordable.
I I text them. I remind them. I
Really?
give always yeah, yeah. So at the end of like the calls, I give them my cell phone number and then I'm like, hey, just a reminder, you are gonna get drafted in a couple of days. You're gonna get drafted tomorrow. Make sure that money's available. So you can have your coverage.
You have pretty insane
That
retention too. You
no,
don't really
yeah.
get too many chargebacks. That's good. God willing, let's make sure we keep it that way. But like you don't, to be honest, your retention is pretty good. That probably goes back down to why like you're saving your clients to your cell phone, you're available for them when they call you. That's good. Those are the good practices. Let's talk about like your workday too, right? Because obviously, you're logging into Zoom before most people even wake up on the West Coast, right? And I know 'cause I lived in Cali for like a year, so that was a definitely an experience to say the least, right? You and I were like, and Kamal too. Kamal was like one of the early birds on there. Um, like, what's like a typical workday look like for you? Like, what does a daily routine look like from like the moment you wake up until you're done working?
So yeah, I'm up at 6. Just stretch. You have to stretch, try to hop on Zoom, and then I walk my dogs like around 7.
Mhm.
So then I'm like walking them, I feed them, I grab my coffee, and then I start dialing. If I don't have any appointments set, like after like I would say 10:45, I get ready to go to the gym. I knock the gym out because those are the intentions. I work late. So I start dialing from like 2 to like 8:30 p.m.
Mhm.
until
Beautiful.
like no one answers until I can't call anymore.
2 to 8 is insane. Yeah, it's 2 to 8 Cali time. So that's like, I mean, you do the math. 8 p.m. Cali is like 9 p.m. Mountain, 10 p.m. CST, 11 p.m. EST. Like that's what it takes, man. I mean, there's no reason to, and that's all it goes back to what you said, right? Like you're putting in more hours. You're controlling how much you're gonna get paid based on the hours that you put in.
Mhm.
Um, how would you say like for a new agent like watching, right? Looking at this right now, like how would you say like you would you how much would you say how important was discipline being for you like coming in this business compared to like talent in your relative success?
Yeah, that's
How,
the thing about discipline. The thing about discipline, even if you don't want to do it, your mind is like, nah, you gotta go do it. Like it's like me, there's days that I don't want to go to the gym, but I still go to the gym. And the days that I don't want to go to the gym is the days that I have the best workouts.
Mhm.
It's like you have to do it. Even I'm like, dang, I'm like, I have to dial. I dial and then I make like 3, 4 sales a day.
Yeah.
It's like a mindset, right? It's like a mentality thing. It's like you gotta like switch your negative brain. It's like, no, like I have to work for myself. I'm not working for anybody else. I have to show up for myself.
Yeah.
I'll bills due tomorrow. And like I said earlier in the call, like I am in California. I'm in San Diego out of all places, and it's so expensive. So I'm like used to a lifestyle. I'm used to like having to pay my bills. So I have to make it happen.
No doubt.
Right. If I don't make it happen, no one's gonna do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad that you backed it up with like real inputs too, right? Because like I was watching a video the other day too. It's like if you like discipline is built, but like you can also focusing, getting hyper fixated on the discipline in itself and not following through can also create like a counter effect. So like, what does that mean? Okay, you set the intention to go to the gym. Okay, I'm going to the gym today. Okay, you end up not going to the gym. Okay, that happens for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Okay,
Mhm,
now you've reversed engineered in your brain. You have reverse trained your brain to not go to the gym now. Like
mhm,
same thing in the morning. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a saint, right? I make this mistake. You you hit that snooze, right? You make the intention, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 4:30 in the morning, right? And you're tired. But the intention of waking up in the morning starts the day before. You go to sleep early. Okay, you have to go to sleep early to make sure that you wake up early the next day. Maybe pop a melatonin. Make sure you can get yourself back in the swing of the circadian rhythm. Now you wake up the alarm goes off in the morning. You hit that snooze button. Now you've just trained your brain in the most feeble state, in the most like feeble state because you're dreaming, you're coming out of REM sleep. You hear that alarm. You've just trained your brain at that stage, and now you're going back to sleep to hit that snooze every single day. It's a
mhm,
very tough thing to break because now you made now it's better to honestly not make the intention than to make the intention not follow through with it over time, right? Um,
mhm.
but that's huge. I'm huge because I think a lot of people talk about mindset and all these things, but like no one really gives context for it. But I'm glad that you did. So let's shift into like the role play aspect, right? You call a Spanish lead, they answer the phone. Give us what the first 30 seconds sounds like.
on my script,
Yeah.
but I have to say it in Spanish. Oh no, I'll
Yeah,
say it
yeah,
in
say it in
English for you
Spanish. I'm gonna
because
act
it's
like
the
I
same
know.
thing.
I'm
Because
gonna
it's
act
the
like
same
I
thing.
Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Hi,
Bueno.
Ion.
Sí, bueno.
Bueno, bueno, sí, Ion.
Yeah, who's this?
Yeah, this
¿Quién
is
habla?
Jessica. I'm just calling you in regards to your life insurance request you submitted with our agency, SmartFin Family Solutions. You put here that
Say
you're
it in Spanish. Do it in Spanish. There's people who speak Spanish here, so it'd be good.
Okay, sí, bueno, Ian, miré que metiste una solicitud que querías más información para un seguro de vida con nuestra agencia SmartFin Family Solutions.
Sí.
Sí,
Let's
sí,
go.
y pusiste a tu esposa de beneficiaria y estás en California.
Uh, yeah, I do have a spouse. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much
Yeah,
the
no.
script.
Yes, beautiful. Okay, cool. All right, Smartphone Family Solutions is obviously HDFB. So
Yeah.
if you know, you know. Excellent. Now let's talk about English, right? Let's say the client says, I already have coverage in English.
Mhm,
Okay. Obviously it's been a while since you've ripped English, but vice versa, same, I guess you said you rip it the same way.
mhm.
Walk us exactly how you'd respond in English and where you would take the conversation next. So let's just say,
Okay.
yeah, Jess, I already have coverage, so I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, that's the reason for my call. I just want to make sure you were set up properly. You're not in any like two-way period, smoker rates. So which one of our carriers did you end up going with?
Yeah, it's mutual of them, huh?
Okay, perfect. I do see here that your spouse is your beneficiary, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you just recently sent this request. Did you want to add more to this coverage? Did you want to see if
No, no,
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you
It's good. It's
just got
okay.
blinked out. No, I just
Okay.
got blinked out. I'm so
It's good.
sorry.
It's good. It's fine.
Yeah,
So essentially you figure out what they have. You figure out
yeah.
what they have in place. You assume that they like got coverage with one of our carriers, right? And then you got their information, and then I'm assuming what you go and try and POS them, try and get them a better
Yeah,
rate.
yeah. You try to like see if it's a term policy or if it's a whole life and
Mhm.
how much you're paying on a monthly basis.
Cool. Fire,
Yeah.
fire, fire. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's pretend like I'm a brand new agent sitting next to you on a dial day. I tell you, like, yeah, Jess, I made like 50 calls today and no one wants to talk to me. What would you say to me? And like, what would you have me do for the rest of the day?
Just like, hey, you got to keep on dialing because
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be one of those days no one answers,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Cool,
just kind of keep on going.
cool, beautiful. I'm sure you've had your fair share of those days.
Hmm.
Right? Now, I always want to, and before we conclude here, I want to open up for questions. So if anyone wants to ask questions, I think some people did in the chat. If you want to ask questions, now would be a good time. We always obviously end off with the last guest asks, the next guest, and you have a question for the next guest, right? So last guest asked, if at what point were you the lowest in this industry, and what did you do to get past it?
I would say my lowest was, I mean, I had just started, right? So I would say that was my lowest because I wasn't seeing anything, and I was just starting. So it's like I was like, hey, I do I want to quit? Do I want to keep on going? So I would say that was my lowest in the beginning, but it was because I was being impatient. I wanted to see the results right away. Um, I just kept on going. I was like, hey, I just can't. I just have to be patient. This is gonna not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take time. So I just kept on going. I'm still seeing the bigger picture and what I want for my future. And it's like hopefully have passive income. So it's like I have to work to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's like a mentality thing.
No doubt. Now, what question would you ask the next guest or the next leader to challenge them to the deepest level?
I would say what made you get to this industry or what was the breaking point on why you decided to enter into this industry?
Oh, that's good. That's good. The breaking point as to why you decided to stay. Cool. Love that. That's a good question. All right, cool. With no further ado, I think that pretty much wraps up everything. Jessica Herrera, I appreciate you greatly for joining us this morning.
Thank
Super
you.
insightful for a lot of people. I think a lot of new agents here definitely need to hear this. People who have been with us for a while, people who are like, trying to get in the Spanish market, maybe not seeing like the initial results that, they want to see, similar to yourself. I think this was like super helpful for a lot of people. So, definitely appreciate you for being a part of our organization, being at the forefront for the Spanish market, which is ever so growing. And continue to lead by example. And obviously being a lady producer within our organization, we definitely need more lady producers. We definitely need to get more attention and more clout for the lady producers within our agency. So definitely appreciate you being at the forefront of that. And if everyone could please unmute and say thank you. We're going to be taking questions here momentarily. That'd be amazing.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jess.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Jessica.